if I really explained it to you guys really well. But there's a few characters in this game that just capitalize really heavy off of just super flowchart, and I hate it because I don't know. I just think it's very very annoying. I think these two characters are very flowchart heavy. It's like how to think of like flowchart and the best way to describe it without like going too deep into it is basically like shadow boxing, and then that's another whole explanation of like what is shadow boxing. But anyway, the best way to describe it, if I can't use shadow boxing, it's like I'm going to play this way regardless of what you're doing. That's what flowchart kind of is. But it also too, it gets complicated because not necessarily does flowchart mean that way. It just means that I'm going to give you a series of buttons, and I'm going to see how you deal with it. And if this button don't work, the next time that I go into this move, I'm going to go into another one, if that makes sense. A lot of times, right, fighting these characters, they don't really necessarily see how you react with a button that they give you. They just give you a series of buttons. So for an example, playing Scorpion, Scorpion's going to do this and then slightly backdash. He's going to stagger this move and then stagger it again, slightly staggered again, down one, and then he's just playing like this without you really like doing anything about it, or like he doesn't know necessarily what you're doing. He's just giving you a series of buttons, and this right here can be very like weak. And the reason being is because you're showing your opponent way too much, and you're also showing your opponent how you want to play. So it gives me enough time to actually react to how you're playing. Because when you do certain things, I can actually counter it. So if you do this into down one, you already lost your turn. So like most Scorpions will do this, backdash, and then go right back into it, or they'll do this and then backdash again. And you're not really paying attention to what I could possibly do. So it becomes weak in a sense, because now when you finally have the opportunity to block, then your blocking has to be on point because you can get hit with overhead or low. And a lot of times you haven't put me in a situation where you see what I would do. Like most of the time, if I'm hesitant, I grab, or when I feel overwhelmed, I'll wake up armor. You haven't really like paid attention to how I play, so that allows me to basically wake up a lot. Or then after I start waking up so much, then you start blocking more, and then you get hit with grabs or overheads, and et cetera, et cetera. So it can go both ways. Some flowcharts are stronger than others. They can lead to a lot of other things, like stand one into this, wait to see what I do, and then grab. You also have one where you can go and then you down one, backdash, and then you can do forward three, see what I do. If I down one, you can grab me. There's so many different flowcharts that you can do with this character, to the point where you don't even necessarily have to fight your opponent. You just give him a series of buttons and see how he deals with it, because like how strong he can be. Now, a lot of people want Scorpion to have overheads and lows. Doesn't necessarily need that because his buttons are really good. And a lot of times people don't understand that mix doesn't come with 50-50s. Mix can just be the idea of what can possibly happen, that I always talk about. Like you got 4-3 into this string right here. So most of the time people would try to poke. So if you did 4-3, wait for your opponent to poke, you can grab them, or you can just establish your turn again. That itself can be a mix, because I'm making you think that I'm going to complete the full string. So that's necessarily a mix. A lot of times people get mixed of misunderstood with 50-50s. And I think that's a lot of times what players want with Scorpion is 50-50s. But he's not the only character in the game that doesn't have 50-50s. So, keep that in mind. I also think that he's really strong too, but that's besides the point. Another point that I can make for you is I can't necessarily show you Shadowbox with these characters. Shadowbox will be something like Johnny Cage, but then again, it would be, it's kind of hard. The best way to describe Shadowbox would just be like Noob Saibot from MK11, where he would just throw out buttons in a neutral and hoping that they hit. And then if they don't hit, they just don't hit, just because his clone is hitting you. So it's really complicated, but then it's not really. But anyway, another example of like flowchart would be like how reptiles all do the same thing. They do this, or they do down one, they do this, or they backdash, or they do this into this, or they do this, and then they do this, and they do this into a grab. So it's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, they all play a certain way. They also do things like this, and then they backdash. They do this, and then they backdash. They do 1-1, and then they backdash. And then when you think they're going to backdash, you try to dash up slightly down one. They'll do this to complete the string. So that's really just how reptiles play, and I hate it. It's just so boring to fight them. He'll do this, backdash, 1, 2, backdash, and then he'll still his turn and then do this. It's just like, come on. But that's really necessarily in a small terms of not going too much into depth about flowchart. That's basically flowchart. You just already know what he's going to do, but he's going to do it anyway. You can jump this, but for whatever reason, this string right here is so annoying. It's like it's hard to whiff punish. I guess because he's like in a crouching state or whatever, or a low state. But yeah, that's really just that's flowchart in the most blatantest term and easy to break it down and understand, not to go into too much and confusion. That's just basically flowchart, and I hate it. I hate this type of play style because I'm more of a counter player. So when you just give me a series of buttons, it shows me that you're mimicking whatever you watch, or you're just playing a certain way because you don't know how to play the game really. Because in my opinion, fighting games is all about, like, if I press a button, I want to see how you react. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm just seeing how you're playing. Okay. Now you want to down one a lot. Okay, backdash. You get what I'm saying? And then I can start staggering this move. See what you do. Okay, he didn't press a button. Grab. Okay, I did this. Stand one. See what he does. Grab. That's kind of like how I play, and I can't expect everyone to play that way. So it's whatever. It's just that at the end of the day, I'm going to complain just because I am human. And when something frustrates me, it frustrates me. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't affect me. Like, I'm gonna get it done. I know how to play against the character. It's whatever. But yeah,